Things, everybody. I'm sorry. Peace and blessings, everybody out there. It is RJ Mahdi here on Exodus Radio. This is going to be our first show. Myself, Sister Ya Santua from Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program. Also, my brother Chief Foday Mansaray from the Black Star Action Network International in Sierra Leone. And we're here today talking about the vote or exodus. It's election day in the U.S. We have had an incredible year. Nobody knows what's next for the West. And so we're calling for the mass and immediate repatriation, the exodus, if you will, of the diaspora back to Africa. Let me go ahead and bring both of my co-hosts on. I think they're here in the queue already. Sister Ya, we've got you here, and also my brother Foday. Welcome to the show, family.
Thank you, brother. Good to be on here and talking to you and the team and to the people.
Right.
Okay, brother Foday, looking so Chief, you looking so colorful. I love it.
That's my brother. That's my brother.
He's gonna make me run in the back and get my flag now. So.
Gotta represent.
Yeah, that's what's up.
People gotta know that this is what it is, man, and that we can get these clothes out here. You can wear them over there, all that, man. Like
that's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Real good movement. Hey, look, I'm highly honored to be here with y'all, man. Y'all two of the most prominent repatriates that have been putting it down for years. I've been watching y'all, admiring y'all. So it's a great honor to be here with y'all, and I think we got the information for the nation.
Thanks a lot, man. Hey, and likewise to you, man. You're one of the veterans on the ground right now, holding it down now 8 years here on the continent. You and the family doing it big, lots of projects on the ground. We're going to talk about all of this. There's so much ground to cover right now for our people. I mean, we're missing so much, where we are in the West. And so we got to be the ones to deliver that kind of content, deliver that kind of information. And let's put some brothers and sisters in a position to be able to, improve their lives, man, do something better with their futures.
Absolutely.
That's what it's about.
So shout out to everybody tuning in to Exodus Radio. Again, it's our first episode. We really wanted to just communicate with the people as often as possible. I mean, that was really the goal, is to be a bridge, but to be a bridge that can effectively reach out and bring some value to this movement, because there's so many people who are not necessarily finding the proper channels to make it happen. There are those who are, missing some of the resources that are necessary, and some of the resources that my brother and my sister right here have been, providing for people for years. And so we want to make sure that you all can connect with those kind of resources. So thanks again for everybody for tuning in. Exodus Radio. So what's up, Sister Ya? Let's start with you, man. You're the newest one on the ground right now. Just touching down in Ghana. What, about a few weeks ago? How long you been there now? A month or a little more than a month?
Yeah, about a little over a month now. So, but not new. I'm just returning. I'm coming back. So.
Right. Making that final return. That's right. So what's going on since you've been on the ground these past few weeks? What's it looking like in Ghana?
Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program has been able to secure a 10-bedroom mansion to serve as a place to receive our people as they're coming in from the diaspora. So we to be clear, we are renting this building. We do not own this building. So with
Right.
renting it, that requires that we do charge some small daily rates for the rooms and stuff. But the rooms are beautiful. We've had quite a few people since I've been back to come in and stay in the rooms and rent the rooms. And we assist those people, the ones that are staying. Some are just coming for visit, and some actually, quite a few have come to actually stay. So we've been able to assist
Nice.
them. We send a driver to pick them up at the airport and bring them directly here.
Nice.
We've helped families acquire land with reputable people so that they don't get into any land disputes. I've been working with Ministry of the Future with Dr. Milana to help people get permanent housing, secure leases on their own spaces, so they can get a place for their families.
Right.
Walking people through the immigration process. And I want to say this before we go any further, because a lot of our people do not think about this. You think that once you get your passport and your visa, all you got to do is come over to an African country. There's some more steps.
Right. It's some more steps. It's some more steps, man. It's funny because you never know how much people's willpower is. Let's just put it that way. Because it's a lot of people who are stepping out on faith like never before, and so that's why we call this an exodus, because it's not just a few people here and there. It's not just people are coming casually, man. It's an exodus. Like people are in a rush. People are coming and. We got to slow some people down.
All the time. I got a family of 4 coming in tonight from Canada. So I got my driver ready to go pick them up tonight, and we're going to get them settled in. They coming to stay permanently.
Nice.
Some of the things that people don't think about when you get here, when on these visas, I know we have a right to return. That's true. But you have to follow immigration laws, family. You have to follow immigration laws to any country that you are migrating to. So with that being said, you have a certain amount of time to stay in the country legally on your visas, but you need to, within that period of time, start working on your permanent residency. So you need to start doing your research before you leave to know what the requirements are to get residency in these countries. Don't just pop up. Once that 60 or 90 days is up, you are illegal if you are still in those countries. Okay?
And you don't want to run into no problems. Senegal is actually a really easy country to get residency in. Just to kind of throw this out there for you guys. If you come into Senegal, you come. First of all, Americans have a free visa access here, so there's no cost for your visa. Once you get a place to stay, once you get an apartment, once you move in anywhere, you can actually get your residency within a day's time here in Senegal. So very easy process. Literally, once you got an address, you go down to what they call your chef de quartier, or the area or community leader. They sign a quick paper after viewing your lease or your whatever paperwork you have, your ID. And that's it. You've got residency. So these kind of things. I'm sorry.
Fees associated with that in Senegal.
Man, it's like $1. It's like $1. Straight up.
A little bit more in Ghana. It's around $20.
Oh, for real? You see, and these are the things people got to know, man, because going from country to country, we have a lot of people that come here to Senegal, and then they travel to other places in the continent. They leave us here in Senegal, and then they go to Gambia, and then they fly out to Ghana, and then they visit other places. And it's always good to know how those different countries vary, because remember, guys, Africa is not a country; it's a continent. 50-something countries. Everybody's got different rules, different regulations. We want to make sure that we're respecting those. I had somebody hit us up recently and ask, is it possible to drive across the continent? And I had to think about that for a minute. And I was like, it might be possible, but it's going to be very, very, very challenging. And one of my things that I was saying was, aside from the visas and all of that at each border, the road quality, but not just road quality, it's road sophistication, right? Like, for instance, where you guys are, is how easy is it to use a GPS in a car? Like, you're driving around, how easy is it to use your
Actually,
GPS?
now for us in Ghana, it's relatively easy because we
It's
got
getting better.
Uber now. Yeah, they didn't have Uber when
Right.
I was here before, so Uber's here. You can order
Right.
an Uber. Now, some of the addresses are going to be difficult, like where the actual Sankofa Repat house is. I
Right.
have to use a hotel
A
that's around the
landmark.
corner as the landmark.
Right.
Yeah. So and
Right.
once I put in that in the Uber, it'll basically bring the person here. So, but for the
Right.
most part, you can get around. What about in Senegal? I mean Sierra Leone, Chief.
Well, in Sierra Leone, I know in Freetown the GPS is pretty tight. In some of like the urban areas and around there, it's tight. But most of the country is rural.
Yeah.
Most of them don't have internet access or lights or water.
Right.
Most of the
Right.
country.
Mm-hmm.
So the places where those of us coming back will frequent for our business interactions is available. And plus, it's pretty easy to get around. We don't have many
Right.
roads.
Okay. He said, "Don't have many roads."
Okay.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
reality. That
Yeah.
sounds like
And,
rural Senegal. Yeah, you go out to some of the other regions of
yeah.
Senegal, it's very similar. But
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think what we find a lot here are places where you may have a road today, and then next year it's not a road anymore. Or places where you may have had, train tracks today, and it's a road next year. So we run into those. We run into
Well,
those
what
here.
Ghana is doing right now is they are going through a process of giving every physical place a digital address, and I think that is so that they can improve on GPS and stuff like that. So, yeah,
But even as we criticize the road conditions, as repatriates, we also play a role in bringing infrastructural developments back. We
Right.
often see other people of different races and different nationalities coming back to the continent, investing in our development.
Those very
And,
things. Right.
and just imagine how many unemployed brothers and sisters we have in the diaspora that can do these roles. You know what
oh
I'm saying?
yeah,
That's right.
But the thing is that the governments hold the contracts. The
Right.
governments hold the contracts. And so they go for the best
yeah,
deal. At the end of the day, politics is concentrated economics.
That's right.
And so just wanted to put that out there. At the same time, when we talk about the conditions of the road, we're also talking about potential investment opportunities for the
That's right.
diaspora.
And I think that's one of the things that some of the more affluent brothers and sisters of ours are starting to catch on to. We're starting to see more interest from our brothers and sisters who are of high wealth, or who have high resource capabilities, and they're saying, "Hey, look, I can come back and develop that. I can come back and build that." We're seeing folks laying, the framework for the internet services in the Gambia, right? A local brother doing that out of his pocket. And these are the kind of infrastructural improvements that are needed. A lot of times we hear people talk about the lack thereof in these particular utilities, but what we don't think about is that lack actually equals opportunity. So, that's why we always open up our doors to, those who are looking to invest in development, those who are looking to, be a part of the growth, because right now that's what's needed. Africa doesn't need, the those of us who want to, just have it all right now, right? Africa's not ready for you yet. If you're the type and you need it right now, you need, 100% perfection on you right now. Africa's not ready for you. Who's Africa is looking for right now is those of us who are willing to come back and bring some resources for the
yeah,
development.
Absolutely. We always talk about the brain drain. We talk about reversing the brain drain.
Right.
And this is it in action. Some people look at repatriation like an individual choice to just go and live more comfortable in Africa. But there's a history behind this Exodus movement. Even this current alliance is in alignment with centuries of
Right.
of Exodus. Different groups coming, different groups coming. And so now we're able to reflect back and piggyback and learn the lessons and then modernize our strategy.
That's right.
You know, and so
That's right.
I think it's very important to understand that this right here, this Exodus Alliance that we're representing right now on Exodus Radio today, is cutting edge. We need more of it. Right. We need more participants. But I will say this: I don't think Brother RJ Mahdi, Sister Yah, or myself is here for our own personal individual interests. I say that because we understand by being here that it's bigger than individuals. Period. And even though I never met either physically before, we're already on the same work. We're already on the same task. And it's very important that when we come back with some principles, that we have a code of conduct, that we understand what to talk about in public and what not to talk about in public. You know, we understand the law. We understand the law where we go, literally, because we can be completely out of line. A lot of people don't know, but in Sierra Leone, if you don't have citizenship, you cannot own land. You can lease it, but you can own it. And so when you have people who's coming to Sierra Leone 1 or 2 times, maybe 3 times, and then just so excited they're going back to bring others and making promises that they can make things happen that are actually illegal to happen. We have to start bringing all our knowledge together, databasing it. Our people need some preconditioning to come back to the country. There is a learning curve. There is a culture shock. I went through it. I didn't jump on social media and talk about it, but I was going through it too. And
well, you know, it's not necessary. It's not like we want to present it as a utopia, but there's some things that we discuss in-house with family that the whole world don't need to be privy to.
That's right.
That's all. You same way when your mama. When you're growing up and your mama said what goes on there, this is our family business. You don't go tell the whole world. You deal with it in the house. So some things, we know that some things are messed up. Everything ain't perfect, but we don't have to get all out there and just be like downing and criticizing and being ugly. We don't have to do that because at the end of the day, these are our people. And, you know, a lot of them already know the problems themselves. So it ain't like you just coming over here telling them something they don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're idiots.
I mean, we want to consider something, and this is the fact that for the past number of years, we have heard all of the worst things possible about our homeland. We've heard it from, Europeans. We've heard it from white Americans. We've heard it from even Asians. We've heard it from the media. We've heard it from so many different angles. We don't need to contribute to that. We don't need to add to that negative outlook on our homeland. And I always say this to my family, to our close team, everyone around me. If you see anything that you don't like, be the one to change it. Right? Be the one to work on it. Be the one to bring some resources to it. Be the one to affect it positively. Right.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so happy you brought that up because coming from the diaspora, sometimes we can get isolated in the diaspora interest. We don't understand how that interest is the continental interest once we return here. And taking responsibility for the community we live in here, just like we do in America. But the problem is that a lot of people coming back, they really don't assume any responsibility in the community in America in the first place.
Right.
So we can't expect them to come here and act civil when we don't have that conduct among us over there. We actually have to transform the consciousness of our people that's coming through this transformation, because this will transform you. I'm not the same person I was before I got here.
You can say that again.
Every year I grow a little bit. And Africans need to know that that's what will happen.
Neely Fuller, didn't Baba Neely Fuller Jr. give us a code of conduct, how to behave amongst each other? Did he not?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, break it down, sis. Break that down, sis.
Let me go back and fast. Hold on.
Break that down, sis.
And I know
Yeah,
that the Black Panthers had one too, didn't they?
that's right.
They
So the
did.
Let me
They
look it
did.
up.
yeah. So
Neely.
does the Nation of Islam. We have codes of conduct within our organization, but we don't have a universal code of conduct, particularly for repatriates. We don't have that. We
That's
need to
right.
fill the void. We need an
That's right.
Exodus. We need an Exodus code of conduct.
And you know what we're seeing is it's an important thing because you know like myself and the other members of the Exodus have been talking about for the past few days and weeks. You know this whole repatriation thing being such a new thing. You know in its mass form. There's so much that you know has to be recognized, even if they're challenges, even if they come to us as negative things. They're there for us to learn because going forward, it's not gonna be less inflow. It's gonna be more. Right, and so we want to make sure that when the bulk of our brothers and sisters start making this kind of a transition, that the road is as easy as possible. And so we learn from the mistakes that we've been seeing over the years. Like I said, Brother Foday's been here 8 years. I've been here 6. Sister Ya has been coming here for many years and has been doing business here for many years. And so we've been able to see every kind of challenge imaginable. Trust me, we've seen every kind of challenge you can think of, and a lot of times, even we see people come now who kind of rush into it and run head first into those same challenges, and they run so fast into those challenges. People like us don't even get a chance sometimes to slow them down. So we have to you know create this kind of a soft landing environment. And what I mean by soft landing, I mean comfortable, right? I mean pleasurable. I mean a healing experience. I mean an experience that you're coming into and you're letting go of the stress, not putting additional stress on yourself. And so, in doing that, you know, we should all be willing to honor a set of codes, honor
Yeah.
a set structure, and a set
And
leadership. Go ahead.
yeah. I was just gonna go and tell you about the 10 point code of conduct that Neely Fuller gave us, which and number 10 was stop squabbling amongst yourselves and asking racist white supremacists to settle your problems.
That's right.
The next one was to stop stealing. You
Right.
know, and he said the exception is if you're forced to do so in self-defense or in defense of others. The next one was stop fighting. You
Man.
know, we have one thing we have to learn to do as Black people, which African people know how to do well, is to come together. Normally you will come with your elders or even friends and settle disputes. And then once the
Right.
dispute is settled, you go on about your business, you ain't got no hard feelings. That's the African way. You
That's
know what
right.
I'm saying? So we have to stop all of that. We will attack each other in a minute, talk about each other so bad. We have to stop doing that. And then the
Right.
next one was to stop robbing, stop taking from your folks. He
Facts.
said, yeah, I mean, he goes into reason and explanation of all of these. Everybody can Google. He says, stop stealing, stop being discourteous to each other. You know, just uh one thing from the south. So just even speaking to people that you encounter every
Right.
day, it's something that we do
A
automatically.
smile. A smile. Something as
Yes,
simple as a
yes.
smile.
Greet each
Yeah.
other, just courteous. You know what I'm saying? You never know what kind of a day somebody's having. Your smile and just your hey sister, how you doing? You know what
That's
I'm
right.
saying? I will. One of the things I go out of my way to do, particularly for young females here in Africa, I do it in the States too. When I see them, I encourage them all the time with the natural hair. When I see them and they got their natural hair and it's all, put, really nice and kept and clean, I'll be like, girl, your hair looks good, and they just, and the blush, because nobody tells them that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Really, literally, nobody tells them that when they're wearing their natural hair. So I'd be like, I really like your hair looks so beautiful like that. Oh, keep it up. And you should see the smile that comes on their faces when I do that. Or if I meet a sister that's, like very, very dark skin, I'll be like, oh my God, your skin is so beautiful. It takes my breath. I love your skin. Oh my gosh, I wish I had that combined. You don't know when I do that. The smile, just teeth. All you can see is teeth. And just seeing that my words alone make somebody feel so good, it makes me feel good. You know what I'm saying?
That's right, man.
Yeah. And he said, stop gossiping, stop cursing, and stop name calling, and stop snitching.
And stop snitching.
Hey, listen, that last one is the
Stop snitching.
Stop snitching.
Look, that last one is the golden rule.
Yeah.
In America, we use snitch as something that you go to the police and set someone up, you cooperate with the pigs or with the government or with the Indians. But here in Sierra Leone, snitch means you're out of character.
Right.
It means you have a bad heart. It means you don't like to see people eat.
That's exactly what it is.
They consider a hater a snitch.
That should be the interpretation.
Yes. So the same way that we use hater, they use snitch. They be like, man, you snitching, man, you a snitch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see that, and even I think even in American culture, African American culture, when we say stop snitching, it's typically a hater-based snitching that we're talking about anyway. We're not saying don't report the guy that's abusing you. We're not saying don't report the, what I'm saying? We're not saying don't report the guy that's taking advantage of everybody, right? But we're saying don't be a hater. Don't use your voice for the defamation of others just because you want to do better than them, right? And there's a huge thing about that in our community, with the crab in the barrel mentality. A lot of times, we see somebody on a trajectory of positivity, and we feel like sometimes that should be us, or that person, shouldn't be in that position. It should be me, or it should be somebody else, and then we use our voice in a way that just defames that person beyond what is necessary, right? So again, we're not saying don't call out those who are doing wrong by our brothers and sisters. We're not saying don't or hide these kind of things, but let's stop using our voice to defame one another, just for our own benefit. That's something we got to put behind us.
And for us as a people, another thing I'm seeing now, we're doing a lot of, and I don't know where we got this from, is this gender black men versus black women thing. Just we attacking each other, putting each other down and talking. I'm like, man, I love black men. My dad a black man. I got some 4 sons, 5, my stepson. I got my husband a black man. I love black men. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I'm not going to be talking bad. Most of my friends, my closest friends, are black men. You know what I'm saying? So this thing of talking.
Yeah.
What you say, brother?
Hey, sis, look, you ain't even supposed to have those feelings towards the brothers. You're supposed to be looking for a white man. You're supposed to be laying up under some books. Once you're smart and talented, you ain't supposed to choose no African. What are you doing? So,
me? That's all I can get with. That's it. Ain't nothing else.
Like my sister African superstar say, black love or stay single.
Stay single.
Shout out to African superstar. That's right.
I'm telling you right now, if it ain't a black man, sister, y'all gonna be by her damn.
Black love or stay single. And that it's funny because they say it's nothing more revolutionary than the black love, and that's so powerful because we are so important to one another. Yeah, exactly, and what we hold for one another, right? What the black man holds for the black woman, and what the black woman holds for the black man is something that we can't get anywhere else. And so, and especially in a time and a moment like this, in which our people are probably the most undermined people in the world, we need each other more than anything. And I think that right now we have a lot of division in our society's way of thinking when it comes to that. Obviously, it's popular now to take other routes. For some people, I don't know.
Not over here.
Not over here.
Right. And I made it clear to my children, it ain't. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't bring them home.
If you want to have a happy and good relationship with your mama and have your husband and girlfriend, you better come around me with somebody black.
That's for real.
Otherwise, it's gonna be a problem. And I mean that. My kids know I mean it. I tell them,
serious.
You are grown. You can make your own choices, but just know that I'm not going to change who I am because you went out there and went and got a Becky. Becky going to be very uncomfortable around me. So what let me just say, you're not going to be able to be around each other.
And let me say something also for our brothers and sisters over in the West who are single and they feel like the dating pool in the West, in those areas, is less than desirable. You got a whole continent of your people right here.
Brazil.
You got a whole continent of your people, all sizes, all shapes, all colors, all complexions, all backgrounds, all belief systems. Whatever you like, whatever you into, you can find it on this continent. Bring your butt home and find your love here. I can't tell you how many of my brothers and sisters are finding love here these days. It's happening. It's happening.
Listen, even if they don't want to go all the way to Africa, we got the Caribbean, we got South America, we got Brazil. Everywhere.
Right. Ain't no excuse. There's no excuse.
It's very important not to limit ourselves. When we say race first, when we talking about African people as a race of people, we really got to find that code right there, man. Because
that's right.
We are only going to confuse our descendants.
That's real.
And give our sacrifices to the other side. And they're the other side because they recognize themselves as the other side. And everybody else do too. So it's
serious.
Playing the same game. See, Marcus Garvey was saying, you see the game the rest of the races are playing? Let's get about that life. And that's what Marcus Garvey was saying. Like, yo, it's a race suit. Revolution.
It is a race. It's a race. Yeah.
It's a race. And you know what's happening right now? I'm sorry to cut you off, but what's happening right now with this whole rise of white supremacy in the West, this whole thing that we've seen number 45 get bubbling up over the past years, this sleeping giant that so-called come back out. Don't forget, people, that the source of that hate is the fact that race is being depleted. Okay, don't forget that. The point of white supremacy, all right? If you go back and you look up who was the inspiration behind Dylan Roof, right? And you learn about that white guy. I ain't gonna say his name on it, but you learn about that guy and the books he wrote and the things he taught. Go and see what was the motivation behind the Oklahoma City bombing, right? And why that guy did what he did. A lot of people don't pay attention to these things. We hear the news, we see it all, blah, 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 shooting, whatever. Look at what these people are actually studying. And they are being taught that their race is being annihilated. And so the opposite of that, the only way that they have to turn that around, the only way that they have to slow that down or to even the playing field is to annihilate us. All right. And so that's being done through so many different ways. But it's been said that particular faction, that particular thought process of genetic annihilation is now what has infiltrated deeply into the United States law enforcement community. Right. So when we see all of these things happen, there's a direct correlation, guys. I'm not just making this up. There's a direct correlation behind those white supremacy movements directly into law enforcement and for the purpose of genetic annihilation because they feel like their race is being wiped out. So we have to, if we're not equipped to fight against that physically in that space, and I'm not only fighting with fists or guns, but to reverse it somehow, right? Then we gotta separate from that because at the end of the day, you cannot fight somebody in their own house. You can't fight your enemy in his own house, right? Once he put that plan in place, right, that plan is already so embedded in your community, you don't even know that the doctor you go to read that book and subscribe to that mentality. You don't even know that the teacher you send your kids to school to learn from every day study that same mentality and have that same thought process. You don't even know, right? That the guy that's fixing your car, you thought he was fixing your car. He pulled something off your car because he got a little thing, something in his head that tell him, I have a duty to wipe these people out. You understand? Right.
Francis Cresswell, the ISIS paper. If you haven't read the ISIS paper, she's one of our greatest Black psychiatrists, and she basically told us what it is going on with these people and why they treat us the way they do, why they respond to us the way that they do. And if you haven't read the ISIS papers by Francis Cresswell, saying, go get it. Go get it. Because she's telling you what it is.
That's right. It's very plain to see.
I appreciate you bringing that whole subject matter up because it kind of brings us back to the purpose of this show. Today, I actually prepared some notes. I wanted to be able to have a few minutes to really provide a historic context for what is going on today and how it's happened in the past and how our people have responded with Exodus in the past.
Go ahead, Brother Foday, let them know.
Okay, no problem, man. So, you know, we have centuries of quote-unquote African-American Exodus history. And I just wanted to touch on several of those movements briefly so we can have a context historically that we're referencing, that we understand the continuum that we represent and manifest today. So, of course, for African-Americans, quote-unquote, Africans born in America with U.S. citizenship, with direct lineage.
Come on, Brother Foday.
One second. Foday, can you hear us? Okay, there he is. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay, I'm back.
Right, you're here, man.
Okay, so was the people able to hear me when I was talking, or do I have to go back?
No, go ahead, start over.
Okay, no problem. So again, I'm going to contextualize this so that we can understand the purpose for this vote or Exodus call. You know, this first show that we're doing. In 1787, the first small group of African Americans, people who were formerly enslaved in the United States of America, returned back to the African continent. They came to a particular place, and today that place is known as Freetown, Sierra Leone. That first group was evacuated during the American Revolution because they were considered British loyalists, or they were the property of British people who returned back to Britain as a consequence of the war breaking out. They took their Africans with them. Later on, those Africans were turned free in London, but they were poor, and they didn't have anybody to take care of them. And so these abolitionists, the white leftists of those days, said, hey, we want a colony in Africa that we can do commerce and promote Christianity in, Western civilization. And the Africans, they just wanted a better situation where they got some land and freedom. And they went along with the abolitionists and came back to found the first Freetown settlement. Unfortunately, that settlement didn't make it, and by 1791, it was done, and there was only about 50 people left. In 1792, the second group came. They were large. They were 1,200 in number. Actually, 1,191. They came. They was large. Most of them were considered black loyalists. They were actually people who fought, took up the arms in the American Revolution on the British side. Because Lord Dunmore, who was the top general of the British at the time, made a call. He said, if you're enslaved, if you're black and you want to be free, come on this side, fight for us. And even if we lose, we will evacuate you and give you land and freedom. And so, of course, Britain lost. And then they evacuated thousands and thousands and thousands of our ancestors. Many of them went to places like Cuba, Jamaica, Barbados. But the largest group went to Nova Scotia. Those who went to Nova Scotia made up about 3,600. and ultimately about 1 in 3 made up the founding group of modern Freetown, Sierra Leone. Hundreds of them came from the Gullah corridor. Many of them came from North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. Many of them, about 800 of them. The others were scattered from other former colonies, Virginia, New York, where they literally fought on the British side of the American Revolution. They were dissatisfied with the conditions in Nova Scotia and the continued racism. And they sent somebody named Thomas Peters. Thomas Peters was an Igbo man. He was enslaved as a teenager, took him to New Orleans at first, Louisiana. Legend has it that he had taken to escape 2 times before they sold him into South Carolina, where he was married, had some children, and ultimately got sold into North Carolina, actually Wilmington, the same place where Sada Shakur's ancestry traces back to as well. So these are people that would be literally our people today. And we have to understand that as quote unquote African American. So Freetown was founded by 2 successful groups of us that were evacuated from the United States of America during the American Revolution by the British. And then the British abolitionist movement grabbed hold of them and brought them back to be the population on the land that they would be able to settle their colony, promote Christianity, commerce, and Western civilization through. Later on, in 1800, the first group of Caribbeans came back. They were Jamaican Maroons who signed a treaty with the British after fighting a war there, and they were forcibly evacuated from Nova Scotia and then brought back to Freetown in 1800. Another one is the 1822 Liberia founding of Liberia by the American Colonization Society. All 3 of the ones that I'm calling have something distinct that I want to point out. There was white leftists, white people who were on the left side of their own struggle that was utilizing our people who were seeking land and freedom in order to build their colonies in Africa. And when you understand that, these are the first 3 attempts. Later on after that, we had independent Pan-African-centered pioneers who began to also advocate and practice repatriation. People like Paul Kufi, people like Martin Delaney. Martin Delaney actually came back to Nigeria and met with the kings and negotiated land for us to come back to. Only the outbreak of the Civil War brought him back to America, where he fought and became the first Black Major General in the U.S. military. After that, he stayed on our ass about begging for our freedom and don't forget Africa. In fact, Martin Delaney tokened the term Africa for Africans. Marcus Garvey came later and said, for those at home and abroad. It was Martin Delaney who coined the term. We have people like Edward Blyden. Edward Blyden, who is from the Caribbean, Virgin Islands, I believe. He came back and he played a pivotal role in Liberia and Sierra Leone. And he's called the father of Pan-Africanism because he was the first to create a system of thought around the various expressions that was going on that he was studying about. He said, man, this is something that we all got in common, this resistance.
Right.
You know? And then we have even people like John Horse. We don't talk about John Horse much. John Horse was one of the leaders of the Gullah war down in Florida. After they took them people over to the Indian free land, them Cherokees and them started trying to enslave them. When they tried to start re-enslaving them, they broke free. But one of the things they did was John Horse went to Washington, D.C. and said, before you let us be re-enslaved, find a place in Africa for us, if necessary. And then you have Singbei Pierre. Singbei Pierre, which we call Sinke, who was the brother who led the Amistad Rebellion.
Amistad.
Yeah, he sat in the court and said, man, we don't want to be here, take us back to Africa. And the United States said, well, you're a Mende, it was illegal for you to be captive, we're taking you back home because you're free in Africa. Those are some expressions that I want to point out, but this is the one that I really want to highlight, and I'll explain why as soon as I do. We never ever think about this Exodus. Liberia Exodus 1878. That means after we were free, after the Black Reconstruction era, that there was another organized Exodus movement back to Liberia that took place that we looked completely over. And it was based in South Carolina. It gained momentum in the aftermath of the violent repression of radical Republican policies and leadership in 1876 and the Compromise of 1877. You see, from 1865 to 1877, you had the era of Black Reconstruction. Black people put more people into power than ever before independently. And so,
say that.
And so what happened was, that's why I say vote. Ain't nothing wrong with voting, but vote for Black power. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We have a legacy of that. There's nothing wrong with that. We should do it. And so the Black Congressman from Virginia, his name is Richard H. Kane. They call him Daddy Kane. So when we say Big Daddy Kane, he's the original Daddy Kane.
Wow.
He served as a Black congressman, and he called for 1 million men to lead the injustices that they suffer in the United States of America after the Tilden Hayes Compromise, which completely repealed all of our rights to vote. So they created there's a ship called Azor, A-Z-O-R. I want us to use this, y'all. That's why I'm saying this, A-Z-O-R. The Azor was a ship that was owned by the newly established Liberian Exodus Joint Stock Steamship Company in 1877.
Wow.
It was formed in Charleston, South Carolina, with a fund of $6,000. Azor set sail from West Africa on April 21st, 1878, with 206 passengers. The management committee, they made a lot of errors, and this is why I'm saying this, because we have to be a management committee for this exodus.
Right.
The management committee made several errors that resulted in the death of 23 passengers along the way. Water supplies were exhausted on the way. Food was poor quality and totally consumed along the way.
They weren't prepared.
And they had no physician on board. They were trying to get the hell out of there.
Right.
It's an exodus.
Yeah, so it says the Azor arrived in Sierra Leone first on an emergency stop for supplies on May 19th, 1878. And then it arrived in Monrovia on June 3rd, 1878, which makes the journey from Charleston to the final destination a total of 42 days.
Wow.
Now
We've been trying to get home for a long time. Motherfucker, you said, I want to say something. You said vote. I'm not telling nobody not to vote. I just don't think voting is going to help you. I don't. Not in America.
And I would say I would not be so against the vote if there was actually an option beneficial to vote for.
Exactly.
So I mean that's me. I believe in the voting process, but I mean it kind of gets stifled when there is no actual plausible candidate. So.
There is no option for us as a race of people.
Right.
That's exactly why I'm bringing this up, because we chose the Exodus, just like our people back then. And so what happened was when they exodus, they ended up poor in Liberia. They had issues. But several of the people, 18 people returned back, and they had bad reports. Oh man, if them people had the money, they would come back today. And what happens is that later on, people from that exodus birthed people like William Tolbert, who was the president of Liberia, and one of the Pan-African progressive presidents in Liberia. And so people who made that exodus birthed presidents later. You understand? Because they decided to stay and work it out, struggle through it. And so that's what we're doing. We're working it out and struggling through it. The thing about the vote now, sis, is this. The vote is not just national. Right now we're talking about national vote. But I'm talking about we got city council votes. We got local votes. We got state votes. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that when you educate yourself politically, you're going to use every avenue to empower yourself and show your people how to do it wherever they are. And so there's an opportunity for us. The Black Panther Party wasn't opposed to voting. They wanted Black power. They were saying,
and they wanted a fair vote, if anything. Yeah.
You know, we was opposed.
Well, we're still dealing right now in 21st century in America with voter suppression.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that even I agree with what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying these people are out to sabotage everything that we do to try to get some of that black power. I just because
including
these
the
people
vote,
don't just
including the
including the
vote.
vote.
You know why? You know why? Because they know that the vote could be used to position people in positions of power where we can control more resources that enter or leave our communities. You see, the key to having black power is having some political power. And knowing what to do with it, so you can have an economic security base for your people, and that's what has happened in the process of integration. They gave us tokens, and then we fell back from the political process. Prior to that,
That's right.
it was
That's right.
Prior to that, it was all about creating leaders that.
But let's go back because you said it yourself when you were going through history. All these strides that we made after 1865 and how we rose up politically, and then they came and made laws and just wiped all that shit right on out. You
Right. I mean, they've essentially been doing that, though. I mean, they've really been doing that since day one.
This is at the end of the day. This is what I'm saying. You can do all of that, but know that these people are going to be finding a way to wipe all that shit out.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Because I mean, that's all. If you understand American politics, you understand that a lot of what American politics has to do with right now in today's day and age is actually white people arguing with each other about what to do with black people. Okay, I'm serious. It's always been since the day they stole us and thought that they owned us. They've been trying to figure out how to position us as proper pawns in their game of chess, right? How to get us to use our numbers to put them in power, and then they still not do anything for us, right? Or how to use us in a way to empower their businesses to work for them as employees, to purchase from them as consumers, et cetera, et cetera. It's never been about our rights. It's never been about giving us power. It will never be about giving us any particular say so in how that country is run, and that's what people have to understand. Even with having a black president as the highest office in the land, our needs were still not met. So that should tell us that there is no intention within that particular system to do right by us. The only thing that they're trying to figure out is what to do with us, how to move us out their way, how to play chess with us, right? They're gentrifying us like crazy, right? You guys live over here for this amount of time. Okay, when that neighborhood's run down, we'll take it back and build it and send you guys out somewhere into another community, right? They're just moving us around. We're just pawns on their table, and we're never going to actually be able to win the game with them. Not in that board game.
You know what? I don't. You see the flag, right? African sovereignty is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about political power to control our own system, no matter where we at. Whether we in the American system, we in the UK, we in Ghana, wherever we at, that we have a system whereas we determine what kind of political power we're going to exercise. And so what I'm saying is that historically, our politics have been masked, but now it's not masked. It follows your tax situation.
Right.
It follows your career path.
That's right.
It follows your social life or your religious preference. But before integration, our people was literally pursuing political agendas that was meant to empower us. And because they attack those things, that lets us know that that's the right path to go. It doesn't mean, oh, man, they attacked that, so no, we ain't gonna do that no more.
Right.
You know what? There's something about this voting that is bigger than even the election. That's bigger than even them. And the fact that we know the masses of our people will participate. The masses of our people, they will participate. We have to have a political agenda for our people. We have to have it, no matter where we're at. And that agenda, it should be very, 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 like you said, mapped out, and it be empowerment for the people that are making the votes. We need to look people that we can vote for, that we believe in, that we cultivate for ourselves. That's the
Right.
process. That's the process of politics. Now, once we stop politicking, then we lose that ability. We
That's
lose
right.
that ability.
And
And
we have
we
a.
do need political leadership. You know,
And I
I
think.
just told you that. I
This
just
this
told you
is
that
this is my position, and I feel for
people
those
who
people
chose people who chose the Exodus in 1878, and within the next century, their descendants leading nations in Africa.
Right.
So it's not vote or Exodus. If you choose not to Exodus, then use your vote correctly and put
Right.
black community with it. And when we say vote, it's not just vote for Trump or vote for that. No, you
Right.
have to vote. Malcolm X said you should
The
have
ballot or the bullet.
He said the ballot or the bullet. You understand? And we need both. We actually
That's right.
need both. We actually need both. When you understand that
I guess I just based on history, I don't based on how they respond whenever we get any type of independence or power. I mean, because we're not in a position to defend ourselves in America, because we're just not.
Right.
Let's
Right.
just be very big. I gotta
We're
be
not.
honest. When brothers and sisters start, talking about some imaginary fighting back and stuff, I'm like, you control your own drinking water. So how you gonna fight somebody that control your water? So let's not play games. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I was in the military, and I know that's unrealistic.
Sister, y'all dropping them jewels. How you gonna fight somebody that control your drinking water?
Right. You understand what I'm saying? So,
Oh man.
and I know from history that every time that we said, okay, let's try to separate ourselves on this soil and still live in the house with them, but be separate, they come and destroy that too. They don't want you to do that either.
They coming to destroy. We seen that fail too many times. We seen that fail too many times. And I think what that boils down to is just really the fact that those people hate to see us do well, and that's really the basis of it now. Because separation, we've done the separation thing before in America, and they've still come and destroyed what we created separate from them in America.
You know what?
So
You know what, bro? We have almost 50 million of our people right there in America while we're in Africa having this conversation. And the mass majority of our people, they ain't gonna reach this level of consciousness in their lifetime.
right.
And they're not gonna make this. They're not gonna make the Exodus decision.
The sad truth.
They're gonna have to work with what they got. This is like when you were in prison and a police officer do you bad. All you can do is do the grievance process that they give you. Sometimes it works. Sometimes
And you grieving to them. you complaining to them about them. It's the same thing.
Exactly.
Hey, bro, listen. But listen, I know it sounds crazy, but we're a captive people. That's the
Right.
rules of engagement when you're a captive people. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we
right.
set the rules, man. They set the rules.
That's right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
And the struggle is so that we can level the playing field. Level the playing field. Our people don't even have political leaders that they can point to and say that's the political leader right now. Because we're
Right.
don't engage politically, we're not cultivating those leaders. We don't have
Right.
And
And I think that even that and a lot of these things we can't just put them out there. We have to give a root to them also, right? So we don't have political leaders. Not that we don't want political leaders, but the fact that developing political leader people inside the house of the captor is possible, right? We have to understand that as a people. We were just talking about this the other day. Well, we were just talking about this the other day. They said that all of our leaders, all of Black America's leaders now are rappers, right? And so somebody was saying, what happened to all of our other leaders? Where's all of our other leaders that aren't rappers and this and that? The leaders that came, every time they've tried to come, right? There's been something that's destroyed them because you are in the house of the captor. Right? If somebody kidnaps you, right? Let's say I kidnap a whole family, I bring them into my house, right? And I keep them in my house. You think I'm gonna let any member of that family become a prominent figure in my house? Never.
Bro,
Never. Because you're a captured people.
Bro, what about Nkrumah? What about
I'm talking about in America. I'm talking about in the West.
I'm saying that he went over there and learned. He went over there and educated himself in terms of being a political leader.
Right,
and then
right.
He became a political leader, and they still slammed him in Africa. That's what I'm saying.
This is true. This is true. This is true.
Yeah, that's because we have many sellouts amongst us that will do the white man's bidding. We have many amongst us that will do the
anywhere.
But for tokens, you know.
Yeah. The white man will smash us out anywhere they find us. But that doesn't mean that we ain't supposed to engage them. It doesn't mean that we're supposed to have a responsible political entity that represents us in this world, whether they recognize it or not, whether it's their law or our law. We need African sovereignty. And that's something that we're fighting for, although we're divided and hawked down by their laws.
And that's a good point. That's a good point. I even want to pose that question, and you guys can contribute in the comments if you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook. But I want to pose the question because this came up earlier this year. I think a member of our, Black community created a party or somewhat of a party. I'm not 100% sure. I believe it was it Jay Morrison created somewhat of a political party. How confident, right? And this question is for the people. We're going to discuss it ourselves too, but this question is for the people. How confident are you guys in a Black political party in America? Would you vote it if you were there in the States? And do you feel as if we have the economic and legal understanding and political power to run a party that can actually pose a challenge to the two-sided, bird that we've been looking at all of these years? So how confident are you guys in a Black party? Would you vote a Black party? And how equipped do you feel we'd even be in America to have a party that could compete against the red and the blue? Because that's something that...
While we wait on them to add some comments, I want to say something. No, the average Black person who believes in the American political system, believes in it, you're right? Mm-hmm. I don't know why any right-thinking African person would after what we've witnessed for the past 200 and some centuries, but they do. Some of them do believe in it. So what they want is when they tell you to vote, they want you to vote how they want you to vote, which 9 times out of 10 is Democrat, because they're a Democrat. And when they say go vote, that's because really they want you to vote Democrat. They don't want you to exercise your right to vote for who you want to vote for. They want you to vote for who they
because that's not how the system was set up. Like I said, they're only using us as pawns.
Yeah, because as soon as you say, and I've tested it with them, as soon as you say I'm voting Green Party, they get pissed off. They get angry. What? Instead of just being happy, wait a minute.
Are you crazy?
Instead of just being happy that I'm voting and exercising my right to vote, no, the problem is, no, we want you to vote, but we want you to vote who we want you to vote for.
Like that's the default.
Yeah, then they come with, you just throwing away your vote, or you just helping this person win. But I'm like, but don't I have a right to just vote which party I believe represents the interest that I believe in? Which out of the three, it would be the Green Party. It's not either the Democrat,
red and the blue.
Yeah, it's not either one of them. So that's another thing, trying to convince Black people, particularly the older ones, to switch to a new party that's just for Black people. I don't see it. I don't see Black people doing it. I really don't. Not in mass. Not like.
And it looks like some of the commenters agree with you. Cassandra says, "Not until we are united and stop the crab mentality, it won't work." Cheryl says, yes, I would support if the party was grassroots, but I expect attempts of tomfoolery and infiltration. So, I mean, this leads us back to the topic of this conversation, which is vote or exodus. So if you feel like your vote for the blue and the red is ill-placed, your vote for our own parties is, not going to make a difference. If you feel like the ballots are slighted already and decided already, like a lot of us feel, then your only alternative right now is exodus. It's get out and get away and build something somewhere else, because the American system is crumbling. And as I always say, whenever something in America crumbles, black people always get the worst of it. Whenever there's a disaster in America, we get the worst of it, right? We look at the way America responds to even tragedy, crisis, all of these things. We're the least, we're the least attention, that's given. So we have to now make a choice, right? Do we want to stay in an environment where our political voice doesn't matter? Do we want to stay in an environment where we're suppressed when we try to go and implement our vote? Or do we want to build something elsewhere? That's the conversation we're having today. Vote or exodus. I want to hear you guys' comments, so keep commenting on YouTube and Facebook. Let us know what you think about vote or exodus.
I want to say a little more too, because Sister Yah is onto something. I agree. I just want to throw a subject out there, because maybe we're looking at it as an or thing when it can be an and thing. Vote and exodus, because we're talking about even here in Africa. When you look at the kind of political crises that our people are suffering here, I went through 2 elections here in this country. I've seen it. The vote don't matter in Africa either. You understand? And so, but given that it is imposed, the only system that is given, even in Africa, and typically you have 2 parties, typically, and typically they're ethnic majority parties that are clashing to see who will control most of the wealth, just like in America. Right. They got their whites, and they split and they fight each other over who will control the wealth and the power, right? And so the same dynamic is happening here. We're repatriating. Will we be voting in Africa?
Well, Foday, I'm going to say something that a lot of people may not agree with, but I don't believe that this Roman system of democracy is for African people. I think that we're trying to put a system of, just like we've taken on other things from our oppressor, and we've taken on a political system from our oppressor that does not work for us. And
we got to remember, and this is something that we got to make clear. One second. This is something we have to make clear, because I hear this a lot from people who haven't been to the continent or don't have a lot of experience on the continent. Please, we need everybody to understand, democracy, as it is promoted around the world or forced onto people, is only about 50 years in the works here on the African continent. All right? Senegal is only on its 4th president. All right, seriously. So when we look at how this has developed, right, we're talking only since about the 1960s did most of the African continent accept this global standard of democracy, and before that, at the same time, right.
We're living under neocolonialism here, and we're living under neocolonialism there.
We need to go back to the tradition, the way, because the people, you have a chief, right, a king, and then you have the council that advises the king, and then you have the people. But these people, the king, the queen, and the council, the traditional council, his advisors, they make sure he makes the right decisions and do the right things for the people. And then guess what? If the people decide that you ain't right, they dethrone you and they put somebody else.
That's right. That's one thing that I have been able to see here on the continent is a lot of checks and balances by the people. And I think that's something that we should see more than anything, where the people are the ones that step up and say, nah, we don't want this, kick it out. No, this guy is bad for us, get rid of him.
You don't have to say he's going to be the king for 4 years, he got a 4-year term, none of that. If on day 1 you do something wrong, you out of there. You know?
It's so serious.
We need to be African in every way.
In every way.
You know what? In the modern world, we have to be a lot more sophisticated, essentially, be governed.
Right.
And especially because we're living in a globalized political
world
situation, a globalized economic system. We're not just in the village no more. We have to draw on those values and those principles of self-governance and apply it globally now, utilizing technology, utilizing our current resources and our situations. And the reason why I'm saying, because when we vote, voting is to appoint a leader. All groups will eventually appoint it. If you don't vote in their system, where's our system where we can vote for our own at?
Right.
Talking about developing our own system where our vote matters to us and no one can stop that, then we're not talking about anything near.
In my opinion, in Africa, what needs to be happening, and eventually, I know this can't happen overnight, is I think the people at this day and age should be able to dictate what type of governance structure that they want. Because you see what's happening right now is they've been forced into an irregular type of governance. And then being told that, you're corrupt, or it doesn't feel right. You guys aren't doing it right. Well, they're not doing it right because it's not natural to them. So at the end of the day, the people of this place should be the ones to be able to say, no, we don't want democracy. We want, this type of, it doesn't have to be the exact opposite. It doesn't have to be communism or socialism or monarchies or any of that. But it should be something that the people themselves pick, not the colonial masters that left here, and left it here and just said, hey, look, all right, we're out of here. Y'all got to have this. I don't think that's the way that it should have been left.
I agree. And that's how we ended up with neocolonialism. Because at independence, we had Pan-African leaders who were doing that, who was fighting for that sovereignty of Africa. You see what they did there? Same thing they did in America and everywhere else when people rise up, right? That's natural in every struggle. You should not be in the revolutionary African struggle if you don't expect to be attacked. That's just stupid. That don't make sense.
Right.
Seeking to take the path of least resistance is going to get us nowhere. That's why the Haitian Revolution was successful, because they took the path of most resistance and met it head on. And that's the mentality we have to have now. Now, we're talking about developing social systems so we can treat each other better and do better economics. But we're talking about developing Africa into a world superpower. And I say Africa, not one country, the whole continent, and its people around the world. So the goal of what we're chasing is way bigger than any system they can put us in. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And right now, that system is just containing us like a prison cell. And so our whole ideal should be how to break out of that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you can't use the physical means that you think you can use. That's why we talk on mentally breaking out, mental freedom, spiritual freedom, but we don't come home to Africa physically. And so that's why, because we really have this consciousness that we're confined in the hole somewhere up under some prison, when reality, that's not where we're at right now.
That's right.
We're not on the plantation no more.
So I want to. I'm sorry. I want to read one. I just want to read one comment here on YouTube. Natural Doc says, "Those who can vote but did not, you will see the result, and you will be washing the blood of our people off your hands." I wanted to bring that out just because, first of all, do you feel as if I mean, this is really the thought process of a lot of our people right now. They really feel like that this day and age, we really dictate our livelihoods by this vote. And it's so much deeper than that. It's so much deeper than that, people. I need folks to see beyond what NBC Nightly News is telling you. we gotta wake up to there's so many more layers to this fight that we're in. And not saying don't vote. I've never been against voting. If anything, I'm against not having proper options to vote for, and that's a problem that had to be fixed a long time before today, right? So that's not right. So that's not something we can fix overnight. And if you are one of those people who believe in that democracy, who believe in that system, who believe in that vote count, you should be taking a step beyond going to the ballot on voting day, right? You should be out there developing candidates on the local levels. You should be out there helping to create legislation, lobbying the government. This is one thing that black people don't do, and this is why we don't get respect in the U.S. government. We don't lobby.
Yeah.
We don't lobby. The tobacco industry is pouring millions and millions of dollars into government. Amazon is pouring millions and millions of dollars into government, right? The Chinese coalitions, the unions, all of these people are pouring tons of money into government. Where is the black lobby?
Yeah,
I'll wait.
Yeah,
Right? Who gonna respect us on Capitol Hill? We ain't brought no check to nobody. we ain't brought no demands.
Let me tell you, I don't know if that was a sister or brother that said that, but let me just tell you, whoever you are, you cannot guilt Sister Yah into participating in my own oppression. You cannot guilt me into it. So my vote is not going to change anything. These people have their plans. They already got their plans. They plan 50 to 100 years ahead. They already know who's going to be president. You don't know who, but they know who's going to be president. They got a whole system in place, a plan, okay? So there's nothing you can say to make me feel guilty about not participating in my oppressor's system, okay? If you choose to participate, good. I'm not telling you not to, but
congratulations.
Trying to make me. And then people that say, if you don't vote, you can't complain. I can complain. Yes, I can. I can say whatever I want to say.
And me, I ain't gonna complain. I'm gonna just go about my business. I ain't got nothing to do with it.
I voted with my feet. I passed my bag and got my passport.
Exactly. That was casting our vote.
My vote was a vote of no confidence.
That's right.
And I got on down.
Facts.
I voted with my feet.
Right. And it's a decision. That's why we're talking. Vote for Exodus.
Or Exodus.
You know
That's right. That's right.
We here. I'm just trying to provide some repatriate perspective for the people out there to know that it's two sides.
Right.
And then on top of that, bro, like when I say, let me explain this. We were talking the other day. Like I'm a community-based organizer, man. I'm a little dude. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a doctorate. I got a GED, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the bottom.
And you know more than most.
I was about to say, man, yeah, that wisdom is coming out of your pores, brother.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that, like, for people at the grassroots who are concerned, especially our young people who are being galvanized into mobilization right now, they're being politically activated. They're being politically activated largely by our enemies. These are the opportunities that we go out and challenge that politically.
Right.
If we're not there engaging our people during these political glimpses of time, then we leave them up to whatever the enemy wants to do with it. And even though we don't got no control, we still do got to say. And we do got a responsibility. And at the local level of governance, we can take over certain shit. Now, we got how many black mayors? We got a bunch of black mayors. But they're not Pan-Africans. They don't have a Pan-African ideology. They don't care about connecting Atlanta to the other black cities in America, to black cities in Africa. They don't think like that. They think about how they're going to make the best career decision for themselves in America. And
so they can move up.
And so that's what I mean by us returning to the grassroots with genuine political education. The Black Panther Party educated kids while they fed them going to school. That's political education. People who have proper political education wouldn't make certain statements. They wouldn't think that the blood is on our hands because we chose the Exodus. No, they would never think that. They would say, well, don't forget about us, and let's try to make a way where y'all can make money there, we can make money here. So when I come here, we good. When you come here, we good. As a community.
And I want to point, and before you get off of that point, I want to point something out with that because somebody asked me, for those of us that are stuck here in the U.S., who aren't able to make our exodus right now, what is the most important thing that we could be doing if voting is not it? And my answer to that, my answer to that is exactly what Foday was just saying. We need those of you in the States, right? You're there, you're working hard, you're making money, you're doing your thing. You should be investing in your continent. That is the most important thing that you can be doing right now with your economics. Not buying $2, $3, $4, $5,000 purses, not running up, expensive trips and doing all of these, we do too much sometimes and don't be doing enough. Right? It doesn't take for you to be rich to invest in your continent. It doesn't take for you to be rich to put your money into your homeland. And let me tell you something. When you look at people in America, you look at Asian Americans. Asian Americans do not have the numbers to affect any national election in America. But Asian Americans are respected in America by the system, right? They're given opportunity. They're able to have protection, right? And that is because their homeland is wealthy, is powerful, is strong. It defends them, right? Nobody will encroach upon them because they understand that where these people are from might retaliate on us for that. And so with a strong homeland, you can be able to go anywhere in the world and have respect. But if the homeland that you're supposedly from, you're detached from it, you got no connection to it, there's no economic support from it, there's no political support from it, right? When these things are lacking, people can treat you however they want. So if you plan to stay in America, if you have to be there at any extended period of time, you should be concerned with how your continent is developing, because it'll be your continent that will come to save you and protect you and take care of you and give you economic support when you need it. So we have to reinvest into our foundation so that we have a backing that the U.S. government has to respect. Right? If African countries and African organizations and African figures start speaking up and upholding that kind of responsibility for those diasporans, I think you will see conditions change quickly, especially on a political level, because they got to respect it when you have the numbers and the power.
Yeah, it's interesting you would say that, because Chinese diaspora, they bankroll China.
Right.
They do their banking in China.
Right.
They go to America, it's to grab that bag and build their family up so they can be elites educationally from the West.
Big time.
Because China knows that they need some of that knowledge from the West.
That's right.
They know
That's
that.
right. Yeah.
We should know that.
And traveling and getting knowledge is very useful. Yeah. I mean, there's even those who go to China and study for a while, go learn those machineries and technologies they got. As long as you bringing that back home, then it's worth it. Now, if you go in there to just live life and live it up and pay them your tax money and pay them your consumer money, then you're exactly. But if you go there and get that education, I tell my young people here, even though we have several young members of our team here who are from here, grew up here, lived here their whole life. We worked with them, taught them English, computers, etc. And now they're in America, right? We've got at least 3 team members that we trained up here in Senegal that are in America right now. And all of them will tell you, I'm only here to get this education and get back home to my country. All of them will tell you that.
That's interesting.
That's what Gaddafi did for the young people of Libya before they took him out. He sent them abroad so they could get education and training, and then they come back home to help build up Libya. You see what I'm saying? So
Cuba too.
Yeah.
Right. Cuba's a good one.
It was breaking up a little bit. So to
Cuba, we said Cuba.
What can you be doing? What can you do right now if you're gonna stay? We are here to get something going to receive you so you can come. But we need support. Right. I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. Sankofa is on the 19th of this month will be 1 year since I launched Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program. And do you know don't congratulate me because we only got, as of today, 290 donors.
But it's
Only.
okay. But it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
It's
that's
okay.
the
2
beginning.
years ago, you didn't have
But but
that.
the,
2 years ago, you
but
didn't
you
have
but you know
that.
what? We have thousands of people who contact me via email, text messages, on our website, sending messages through the website. They're asking for services, asking for help every day. I just a sister came here today. Called me today from. She's in Tanzania. She wants to come to Ghana. This happens to me every day, and I have to tell people. If people not supporting yet, we still in fundraising phase. I can't do
Right.
anything until people support. So
Contribute.
if you, yeah. So my thing, like I said, we rented this house, so I have to pay rent on this house, and I can bring people here and everything. That was something I tried to do to try to supplement to create another stream of income for the organization because just relying on the donations is not working, right? So
Facts.
I honestly thought if I create this program and we want to do all these things for people, give them housing, give them a monthly stipend, give them the startup capital, pay for their immigration paperwork, pay for their business registration, get them and hold their hand and get them set up. I thought, well, this is what people need and they're going to support it. In 1 year, we have go to the Patreon. It's public. It's public how much we get, and it's public how many donors we got. 200, less than 300. So, but yet everybody wants services. These thousands
That's
of people
right.
who contacted me and stuff want services, but even those people haven't just get, and we only ask for $1 a month. We're just trying to get 1 million brothers and sisters in the diaspora to give $1 so we can help us, so we can help our own
That's
people.
right.
You
That's
understand what I'm
right.
saying?
That's right. You guys don't. I think a lot of time. I think a lot of people in the diaspora also don't understand the amount of expense and cost associated with doing what people like you or I or Chief does here on the ground. You guys, it is a very, very, very tedious and challenging mission that we've set out on. And I want you guys to really understand me, hear me loud. What we do here on the ground is not easy. I know you guys see us on Instagram, you see us on social media, we share the beautiful sunshiny pictures, we out on the beaches, we enjoying ourselves. But behind the scenes, there is an enormous workload that is associated with assisting our brothers and sisters in this exodus. My family and I, we came here 6 years ago. We did not come here with a lot of money. We sold everything we had in America. We came here with, literally our bags and enough to withstand us for a month or so. We built all of this out of the mud, as they say, and it's still muddy sometimes. And we have to go through a slew of challenges, not just here on the ground dealing in developing countries or with language barriers and this type of things, but enormous challenges against our own people sometimes who pose difficulties when it comes to this type of a mission. And I want to just kind of put this out there for those of you who are making your repatriation. This is something that's very imperative. Don't come back to the continent and try to rush into this type of work that the brother and the sister and I are doing here. I'm telling you this, from as a brother. It's very difficult. It can be cutthroat at times. It can be very tiring, and it takes an enormous amount of resources and connections here on the ground. We've been building relationships. We've been building relationships for years. Some of the relationships that I have that helped me to run the Made in Africa Project and our Cape Line Development Group and these businesses here on the ground are relationships that I started here 20 years ago. Okay, 20 years ago on my first visit here, I started those relationships and had to cultivate them for years. And then even in coming back, had to build new relationships and go through unimaginable service. Right? It's not just business. This is not just, we're here to make money or we're here to be the best YouTuber or we're here to, get famous. That's not what this is about. It's about service. And one thing that you understand here in Africa is the communities here, they don't care how much money you got. They don't care how famous you think you are. They don't give no care about your Instagram followers, YouTube subscribers, none of that. They'll laugh at you if you even mention that. The only thing they care about is your heart and your service. How much service are you giving to our communities, right? How are you improving the lives of us, our people here on the ground? What did you contribute that you didn't make something off of? Right? People are counting this. They're calculating it. They're looking. They're running a tally. Right? How many things have you done here that somebody didn't have to pay you for? How much of your time did you take out to teach somebody something in this community? How much of your funds, of your personal finances, did you put forth to build something for this community? These are the things that you need to be worried about doing way before you want to start being, the repatriation, doorway, pathway, guru. Don't try to jump into that. I'm telling you, we're seeing people try it and fail miserably and fast. I'm telling you.
Most of you don't even know when you show up in a community, that community has a chief. The right thing for you to do is to go and have an audience and introduce yourself to the chief. And say, I'm here, and this is my name, and you don't know that you're supposed to do that.
That's right. That's right.
You just go and rent a house and post up there, but you don't introduce yourself to the chief. All of these places have a chief.
Already you cutting your own throat. Already you cutting your own throat. I'm telling you, don't try to come here and you don't have some type of co-signer, some type of community behind you, somebody that can vouch for you. You all of the work that you're doing is in vain. You can work until you turn blue and you're putting yourself in a deeper hole than you can dig out of. So, allow those of us who have been here for years to continue to cultivate the ground. We are actually going to be starting a training for repatriate consultants. So for those of you who are planning to come back, if you feel like you have experience in real estate, in development, in financial planning, in business, etc., then okay, you may have the initial qualifications, but there is an extensive training that's necessary to put you in a position to be successful in this business. And we're going to be providing that training through the Exodus Alliance. I myself am going to be taking time out of my day and my week and my months to make sure that if that is what you plan to do, because we don't want to stop people from helping the movement. What we want to stop people from doing is damaging the movement by getting into the movement and performing badly. Okay, so if you have those kind of goals, reach out to us, madeinafricaproject.com. You can reach out to any person on this live directly if you know us, if you're friends with us on social media, and say, hey, look, how can I get trained? I've got a little experience in this or that, and I want to be trained and fine-tuned so that I can provide those services on the ground. We'll be more than happy to put you in a position to do that successfully. This whole YouTube thing, everybody feels like they can make a YouTube video and the next thing you know, you're a real estate guru selling land and, taking people's money for tours. And man, you guys don't understand what you got, you're putting yourself in a position.
Really, it's making the whole movement look bad and look suspect when really we have genuine people. Not just us three. We know other genuine people who are on the ground that are resources for you in these different countries. Right. But just following somebody on YouTube and they just got there and then you want to jump up and don't do that.
Right. Likewise. So for all of you guys who are coming, right, and I know it's easy sometimes to get on social media. There's so many people. Everybody's got, opinions and referrals and just holler at my people, holler at that person. Do some due diligence on these people. Make sure these folks are really in a position to help you. Before you send your money to these different pop-up businesses, make sure these folks actually have the proper resources that are going to help you. I just collected a couple people on the ground who were not in that position, who were not in a good position when they were arriving. And I don't want to see people getting here to the ground and then you coming to us, oh, I was supposed to meet with so-and-so, or now I can't get in touch with them, or boom, boom. It's not what I thought. We don't want to see that. We want to see people come back and be comfortable. We want to see people come back and be peaceful. We want to see people come back and be able to build and heal. We don't want to have people getting here to the ground and, you're damn near homeless because you just trusted somebody off of Facebook with your livelihood and you know what I'm saying? So let's make good choices. Let's make sure we're vetting and looking into these different organizations properly. If nothing else, come to us. We, the Exodus Alliance, have committed ourselves to being that bridge. We don't just do it, for the glory. We do it so that everybody has an opportunity. This is a service that we feel like we have a responsibility to provide to our people. So take advantage. Come to us for whatever you need.
Yeah. Hey, bro, can I add on real fast?
Right.
Yeah, man. We were talking about the danger of coming back with friends and people you hook up with on social media. It's very, very dangerous, y'all. I mean, we're already vulnerable coming back and not knowing anything. You're already disabled because of the language, because of the place. You don't know it. And the last thing you need to be is lost in Africa with people that's lost in Africa. Crazy. I say that because when I came here by myself. I knew one person that invited me back. I lived with him for 3 months. I rented my own place, and I've been here since. And if you come back with the wrong person, you will not only injure yourself, but your descendants that you're hoping to empower, you will impact them. Today I know thousands and thousands of Sierra Leoneans in their communities and in their villages, not on social media. And because of that, I understand the culture in a way where if you come and you want to walk around and meet people at their level, then you need people like that. And there's some misconceptions. Some of us are literally rogue opportunists. Some of us are approaching this like business only. Some of us are coming back to compete with those of us who are already on the ground, thinking that it's a business front or something. And so they're commercializing the Exodus. And in doing that, the service aspect and the hospitality aspect is being lost, and it's actually going to give us the bad name if we don't establish this platform and start conditioning people for the Exodus before they make it. And so it's very important, man. Listen, I appreciate this platform. And then on top of that, bro, the competitive edge, we gotta kind of knock that off when we come back. We have to come back and cooperate with each other.
Right.
I've been 8 years, man. I've met people here on their first return to Africa. I've taken people back to their ancestral villages and other things. People come for business. They want to know how they hook up with the Ministry of Trade, take it to the Ministry of Trade. Guide people as they try to build whatever it is they're trying to build. And so what you have is that you have opportunism, and it's competitive on both sides. You have people here who will view us as competition to them. They feel like you don't got a right to come here and eat my market up. Tourism is a national thing. We got the industry around tourism. We don't care about you one business. And so we have to understand that it's not tourism. We're actually welcoming our people home. You understand? And remember, just as we were discussing yesterday amongst us guys, when we come back here, remember this is something bigger than a tourism push, right? But when we repatriate here, the local people, the officials, the governments, those people who are in power, personalities who are watching, they are watching us to see how we perform here on the ground. They're watching us to see, as a tribe, how connected are we? How on code are we? How united are we? How collective can we be? How respectful, how respected are we? And these are the things that we have to mind, we have to mind our manners, so to speak, right? We have to show our best selves because we don't want to be either offensive to the communities we move into.
We don't want to be a burden to the communities we move into. We don't want to be the drama in the communities we move into.
Right.
When we come back, we want these people on the ground, our brothers and sisters here that are welcoming us home into their environments, into their communities. We want them to be able to say, these people brought value into my community. These people brought value to my family. These people brought jobs into our community. These people created opportunities for my children. These people, you understand, these are the things we want to hear about ourselves on the ground. Not, these people come back, they're fighting amongst each other, or these people are just, they're not united. We're not going to work with them. If we can't work with each other ourselves, what's to incentivize somebody else to work with us?
It's true,
right?
It's true.
We have to set the example that we are able to govern ourselves and to handle ourselves accordingly. If we can't show that, then we really are showing that we don't deserve this kind of opportunity. And I'll be damned if I'm one to stand and let that happen. So it ain't gonna happen. So we'll be the ones to call you out and tell you, hey, look, you tripping. We will be the ones to call you and let you know. We gotta be that for each other.
Hey, get ready for it. Get ready for it. I mean, it's not like pounding our chest, but we have a responsibility and we're going to do our work. And over the last few months, and I'll call names. I don't mind. Anyone want to beef me, they can beef me. I like beef. But with the sister Art Kathy, I'll call her name here. It has been a whirlwind because I just never expected anything like that myself, coming from a repatriate. And maybe that's because I'm usually affiliated with repatriates like us that are more tuned in to what's happening here and just got some training, man. Just know how to be respectful. And I kept out of it. I remember early on, I hit Sister Yah, I said, hey, maybe we should know what's really going on over there. And she was like, well, let's watch because, ain't no leaders out here. Everybody got right to come back. We can't tell them what to say. And it's true, we can't tell the sister what to say.
Right.
Nobody can do that. And if any African is expecting us to do that, then that's unrealistic. Mm-hmm. What we can do is we can influence the full process of repatriation and put policies and practices in place so that the process that should have been there for Sister Art Kathy to come to wasn't there. I'm upset about that. Like, we should have had that in process. There's people who
you got to understand that culturally, it's certain things you just don't do. You just don't do it. You don't. Can you do it because you a grown person and but should you do it? It's going to reflect a certain kind of way. The people are going to look at you a certain kind of way. I'll give you just a small example. In Ghana, we wear waist beads. Now in America, you will see women with waist beads on. They're not wearing it for a cultural thing. They wearing it for
jewelry,
sexy. I want to buy jewelry.
Right.
And they show. They'll wear a low riding pants and show their waist beads. But in Ghana, as a woman, you don't show your waist beads. Nobody is supposed to see your waist beads except
same
your
in
man.
Senegal. The same thing in Senegal. The same thing here.
And I have had accidents where my shirt would ride up or something, and a sister would come up behind me and pull my shirt down, cover it up. You know what I'm saying? Because and I could say, this my beads, this my body, but you don't do that. You understand what I'm saying?
That's right.
You don't do that.
That's right.
I didn't know. Thank you. Thank you, sister. You know what I'm saying? She looking out for me. You see what I'm saying? Because the only person that's supposed to see those beads is my husband, not anybody else. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
and even with that being said too, I don't mean to cut you off, sister, but we have to remember that when we come back, and again, we said this earlier, that Africa is big, and there is a part of Africa for everybody, right? Yeah. What you don't want to do is come to a part of Africa that has a different belief system than you, and you try to force your beliefs onto that part of Africa. That's the worst thing that you can try to do on this continent. If you arrive in a country that has conservative values, Islamic values, or values that require modesty, things like this, and you want to rebel against it and just show that you got the freedom, you're putting yourself in a position that you don't want to be in. There's other parts of Africa, and there's other parts of Africa that accept that. There's somewhere else in Africa that you can go and you can actually be very comfortable in your short shorts, your tank tops. There's parts of Africa where weed is legal. There's parts of Africa where different things. Whatever you into, get it. Go to where that thing is acceptable. Don't go to where it's not acceptable and try to change it to meet your social standards. That's a bad choice to make.
Exactly. And certain things, just a certain way that you behave and carry yourself. And this is why the cultural integration courses that we want to offer with the program are so important, because we really, we are culturally different, and you have to be sensitive to that when you come into somebody else's place to live. You understand what I'm saying? And you don't be loud and obnoxious and talking shit. You don't do that. You don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
That's right, man. We gotta really use some coof.
Hey,
yes, exactly.
Hey, bro, you gotta think about it too, man. Like, we talking about everything we do, the white man comes and attack us. And that has never happened without the help of some of us.
That's right.
Never happened without those who collaborate. And
that's right.
You don't want to be a involuntary collaborator because of your ignorance. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure you're on point.
That's right.
And then the reality is that in the middle of this, man, I got a call from the Ministry of Tourism here, and they dropped Art Cathy's name on the table in front of me and my wife, man. They said, you see what's going on in Gambia with what's her name? Art Cathy. I said,
and you guys are 6 countries. You guys are 5-6 countries away from Gambia.
Bro, and see, you have ministers in government in another African country talking about this stuff. That's embarrassing to all of us.
All of us. And this is something that you guys got to understand. Wait, this is something that a lot of you have to understand too, because I think a lot of people think that we right now are just referring to ourselves as business people or as consultants, etc. And what some of you guys have to understand that this is way deeper than social media, YouTube, promo. We're talking about everybody on this call right now has sat down with government administrations, right? We made an African project. We hold several government contracts with tourism, with development. The same thing with my brother Foday here. The same thing with Ya. We're sitting down with major leaders, right? Trying to get things accomplished that'll make the pathway easy for others. Shakina Chindu, our attorney in the Gambia, who's been lobbying the Constitutional Review Committee in the Gambia for 2 years. I've been to Gambia 20 times in the past few years. Met with Shakina so many times. She's been to the National Assembly. She's had an audience in front of top leaders in the country. And no sooner that this whole thing kicked off with Art back some months ago, that constitutional review got shot down. You see the implications that you have somebody who's fighting here on the ground for expressed citizenship for returnees. She's got an audience. She's in the government. She's getting them to make these changes, and then they turn around in the same country, and another African American is disparaging locals, or another African American is creating an environment of hostility. Now, how do you think those political leaders are going to accept this sister who's lobbying something for us when there's another sister from the same background over here causing trouble? So you guys got to understand that these things have higher implications than just money or business. This is big.
And you know what? And I know a lot of people will support, who support our Kathy and her right to say whatever. Oh, and she just telling the truth, and okay. But like we told you, everything don't have, just because you think something in your mind don't mean you got to get on social media and say it. You understand?
Like my father used to always tell me as a child, He used to always say, you have the ability to do anything you want, but you must remember that every action has an equal reaction.
Yeah.
Okay? Every action has a reaction. And I picked up the phone and I called the sister myself when this first hit the fan. And that was something that I made very clear. I said, yes, what you're saying, it may even have some truth, but just know that the way you're saying it is going to cause some backlash.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And so,
and we should be having those discussions. Not to say we don't deal with those issues, but we talk about that privately as a family. This is what I'm observing going on. Let's get some people together. Let's get some of the youth together.
Let's work on it.
Let's talk about these things. You see what I'm saying?
Let me give you a perfect example. Even Foday does this as well. But when we first came here, we were doing a lot of showing the area. Foday, your fan is blowing in the mic. I'm sorry, brother.
Okay.
Sorry, but we were doing a lot of promoting Africa, and so somebody pulled us to the side. Senegal is not the best country with waste management. Let me just put that out there. All right, waste management is something that's still developing in Senegal. So no matter how beautiful the country and the scenery and the culture, a lot of times there can be some waste issues as far as just trash, things like that. And somebody brought that to our attention. They said, you always say all these good things about Senegal. Why don't you guys promote how dirty this trash is on the ground? And I had to think about that for a minute, right? And I felt a little guilty. I said, okay, well, maybe we're not giving a full, fair look at this. But then I said, before I complain about this thing, I'm going to fix it. And you guys can go back. You can look on my social media. You can see the videos. I'll even post them again. Right then and there, we started a program called Keep Medina Clean, or Keep the City Clean. We put together every repatriate in town, all of us Americans, all of us who had been visiting at the time, my wife, my kids included, vests, gloves, masks, went out and we cleaned the streets till they were spotless. We rented garbage trucks. We bought all kinds of equipment, and we made sure that the streets were clean. And we did that at least periodically so that when people came, they could be welcomed into a clean space. So I had two choices. I could have jumped online and started talking about, oh, look at all this trash and boom, 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 there's not enough cleanup. Or I could just make an effort to change it and use that opportunity as a teaching experience.
That's right.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
As a teaching moment for others so that they can see the example and perhaps keep it up. And now, just to show you how this comes full circle, now that same environment, that same community now has trash cans on the corners, regular cleanup pickup teams, new garbage trucks in town that are picking up trash and removing it. These things are inspired by action, right? Nobody is going to change because you insulted them, right? Africa's not going to change because you insulted. That's not inspiring. What's inspiring is set the example, show us that you can affect it, and then we'll put in what we can put in. We're coming to the end of this showtime, guys. This has been a great talk.
I got a few points before we close out. I want everybody to know about the Lume, the currency. We got, Do you want to go ahead and tell them about that real quick?
So the Lume is the new currency coming out from the state of the African diaspora, SOAD. It is a currency backed by the community of the Maroons, or the sovereign state of the Maroons in the Caribbean, in Jamaica. These folks have put together an amazing plan that backs this currency with solar energy, renewable energy, and also gold. So it's a stable currency that's going to be rolling out across the diaspora, and the state of the African diaspora, the SOAD, is actually going to be issuing a stimulus of $100 in Lume per month to citizens of the African diaspora for the next 3 years. Is it?
3 years.
3 years, right?
36 months.
Right,
so
right.
You need to sign up. You need to register so that you can receive your Lume in your wallet. So, and then, listen, when we all talking about being independent and being free, ain't nothing make us freer than having our own currency to trade,
Right.
something that's not controlled by the West, not by the central
Right.
banks and things like that.
Right.
So for me, that's major. That's a major, major, major step.
And for those people saying if you don't vote, then don't complain. No. If you don't invest in your own currency, don't complain.
Right. So get with one of us so that you can get the link to go ahead and register and sign up for your stimulus of the Lumen. Okay,
nice.
So that's the other thing. The other thing I want to talk about real quick is we have ongoing language classes that are for people who are supporters and donors. Let me just be clear, because we want,
actually right after this call we have a class.
Yeah, we want to be able to offer some things anyway to the people who are, see the vision, support the mission that what we're trying to do. So Sankofa is on its. We're ending our second class of people in tree.
Nice.
We've had a lot of people to take the tree classes and they really like it. So that's beginner tree. That's an 8 weeks class. We have the new class will be starting next week, Monday. This one ends Friday. So if you're interested in learning tree, beginner tree, it's an 8-week course. Hit me up and we'll get you signed up. But you have to be a donor. I'm just telling you right now.
We started the Wolof course too already. We're actually in the second week of our Wolof course for members of the Exodus Repatriation Investment Club. If you are a member already, we actually have a class about to start right after this goes off. We have a Wolof class tonight, and then we do that twice a week. So if you're looking to learn West African Wolof, which is the native language in Senegal and the Gambia, join the Investors Club or the Repatriation Investment Club. The website is on the bottom right now, madeinafricaproject.com. You can make a contribution to the Exodus there or via Cash App Africa for Africans or at the donor box /Exodus Alliance. Get contributed. Like don't complain if you not contributing to your continent. All right.
And if you are a SRAP donor, Sankofa donor, you can attend the Wolof class. If you are a donor or a supporter investor with RJ's project, you can attend the tree classes as well. So that's the alliance. Whatever we offering, all our people get to take part. So the next thing, very quickly, there is a town hall meeting on the 7th, which is Saturday. I'm going to be streaming it live. It's here in Ghana. It'll be 11 a.m. Ghana time, and it is a town hall meeting on our right to return with Dr. Milana of Ministry of the Future and Dr. Obadele Kambon. Yours truly will be a presenter. I will be there talking about the repatriation assistance program. So tune in to our YouTube channel, Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program. You're going to have to calculate your own time. It's 11 a.m. Ghana time, and Ghana is five hours ahead EST. Eastern Standard Time. So with that being said, I got one other thing, but I'm gonna say it real quick. What I want to do is a community outreach called Sankofa Building Bridges. I want to meet once a month with youth in Ghana. I'm looking for a venue right now. I've already had a Ghanaian brother that donated a popcorn machine. So what I want to do is set up and show documentaries and film. And basically it's building bridges, letting them know about us, our history, what happened to us. And then we listen and we talk and we learn about them. Because a lot of stuff that we talk about, the youth, they don't know. They don't know anything about what really happened to us, what our condition is in the West. So I want to build that bridge amongst the people with us. It's unifying us with our brothers and sisters on the continent. So any type of documentaries or films y'all think we should be sharing, let me know if you want to support that. If you support Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program, you will be supporting that initiative as well. So with that being said, thank you all for joining us tonight. I know Brother Mahdi RJ got a class he got to get to. So I want to say thank you.
I'm not teaching. I'm not teaching it. I speak well of God, but I ain't teaching.
Hey.
So
but you might be attending. You might be attending.
I be listening in the background though.
This first show has been amazing.
Absolutely.
We're going to be doing this, guys, every Tuesday at the same time.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Lock it in.
Yeah.
Lock it
so
in.
Make sure y'all set your timers weekly so that you don't forget. And that's it.
And as always, guys, Africa is for Africans. Come home.
Come home. At home and abroad.
Absolutely.
It's Exodus time. Let's go.
Let's go. Y'all have a good one.
All right, brother. Peace. Black power.